How about let's concentrate on my stuff for right now.
Okay.
I did the Boggy Depot record and toured, did some solo touring, and also supported Metallica in '98. And probably about a week, I'd say, a week after I finished that tour, I started writing the music for this record, and pretty much wrote until I think April or May. Then started to put the band together. I'd been talking to Mike Bordin and Robert Trujillo throughout the writing, and I'd been sending them demo tapes and playing them stuff over the phone, bugging the hell out of them, and they were in right off the bat. So I think in the middle of '99 is when we got started, and we finished in 2000, I think 2001. Yeah. So I mean.
How was it working with those guys, Robert and Michael, as opposed to Alice and James?
It's great. They're awesome. They're great players. When I put the band together, or started thinking about who I was going to record this with, I really only thought of Mike, and I gave him a call, like I said early on, and he was in, and they were both with me through the whole ugly trip, and it took a lot to get through this, and they're good people and they're great players. I've always respected both of them outside of playing with them, and what we created together is something I think we can build on. I'd like to do some more records with them in the future, without a doubt.
What was your musical training like? Did you have a background growing up with your family?
Everybody on my mother's side of the family has some sort of musical thing. They play one instrument or sing or something. So I had music around growing up, and both my mother and my father are big country music fans. Is that going to be a problem? Let's. Is that gonna be a problem?
We're gonna pick it up.
Okay, we'll bring it down.
I just want to make sure the audio is cool because I want to do this once.
I saw you play West Palm Beach with Metallica.
That was a great tour.
Yeah,
it's a good band too. It was a really good band. Do we have Chris Dowd with us then, or do we have the other guy? Chris Dowd from Fishbone?
Chris Dowd, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty hard to miss. Black Irish guy with dreads,
I don't remember. I know it was an outdoor venue in West Palm.
Yeah.
It was Mars.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah, we're cool.
Okay.
So back to family growing up.
Yeah, did you have musical background growing up? Was family musical influence? Did they support your choice?
Sure, yeah. I mean, my mother's side of the family, like I said, is very musical. I mean, everybody plays an instrument, and we kind of pass our instruments down. I think I played the same clarinet my uncle played in school band, and my sister played it too. I passed it down to her, and I think my niece is probably playing it now as well. So, my mother played organ. I think my aunt was a drummer. I know my uncle played clarinet. My grandmother played the squeeze box in a melodica. It's like you blow into it and it's got little piano keys on it, So my dad's side of the family is not musical at all. They like music, but they have nothing to do with creating it. I was just talking to my dad the other day, actually. He was like, "Boy, I wish I had half the talent you had. I'd be playing with Merle Haggard right now."
How were you as a teenager?
How was I as a teenager? Oh, shit, man. I don't know. Probably pretty quiet, I guess. I was always kind of on my own trip, Yeah, it was kind of like the guy that kind of could float between cliques but never belonged to any one of them, Yeah.
What kind of music did you listen to? Like,
I grew up on country music. My mother and my dad, like I said, were big country music fans. So that's the first music I really started listening to. And the radio hits of the day. I mean, anything from in the '70s, from Nugent to the Bee Gees to Elton John to a ton of stuff. Kind of got into the pop rock kind of vibe. Fleetwood Mac. And then I discovered guitar, and then I totally took it into. I discovered the Kiss and AC/DC, and that totally woke me up, And I wanted a Gibson Les Paul because Ace Frehley played one. Not really necessarily because I wanted to play it yet, but I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I actually for Christmas put a Christmas list on my door, and I said, "This is all I want." And I cut out a picture of a Les Paul and I put it on my door. And that Christmas, actually, my mother had bought me an acoustic guitar the year before, but I had moved on to live with my father, and that guitar got left behind, and I never really played it much either. But there was a guitar case under the Christmas tree, so I was like, right on. I thought I had it, and when I opened it up, it was an acoustic, and I was so crushed. It was like one of those total lame kid parent moments. Oh, it's an acoustic, He's like, you get good on that, and I'll buy you a Les Paul, but play that first, Get good on that. If you're gonna be good at it, then I'll buy you the real thing, but I'm not gonna buy it until you're serious about it, So, of course, I never played it, and I moved back with my mother in ninth grade, and my mother, my grandmother, and yeah.
I'm gonna cut you off just for a second.
All right.
I need you to look more over here.
All right.
Facing this right.
All right.
Angle on
All right.
I just have to readjust the camera. To the right?
Yeah. I just feel a little uncomfortable here. That's all.
Now that's a good position right there. Perfect.
So you want me to talk into the light or talk over here or what?
Talk more into right.
not directly in the camera, but
Yeah, I don't really dig that.
Yeah,
Okay.
just your
All
eye
right.
line's right here.
All right.
There you go. That's nice. Yeah, I'll take them. So let's go back into your school years and let's talk about how heavily you were involved in music back then. And
Well, actually, the first stage experience I ever had, period, was choir. Yeah, and choir and school band and drama. I actually did a lot of musicals. We did 3 musicals each year I was in high school. We did Bye Bye Birdie the first year. We did Annie Get Your South Pacific, and then Annie Get Your Gun. I was Frank Butler my senior year. But yeah, I got my first experience probably on stage and performing completely outside of rock and roll, and I think that kind of left an impression on me too. I had a couple of great teachers early on, and Linda Martin was my drama teacher, and Joanne Becker was my choir teacher. And I had a total crush on her because she was young and good looking. She was into the Police and stuff like that. And anyway, we did mostly a cappella work, kind of 14th, 15th century Bartok type stuff, and it was really great. We were really good. We scored one. We got 1 rating, and every year we competed. I think we won awards every year. I think that kind of definitely had a little bit to do with probably my harmonies and stuff. The darker harmonies. And yeah.
And then let's move on and talk about how Degradation Trip differentiate that from Boggy Depot?
Boggy.
Boggy.
It's like a whole different lifetime, you know. I mean, it's a whole different thing. I mean, Boggy was a starting point, I guess. It was a jump-off point. So I was just trying to move on, you know. I mean, Alice had kind of come to a halt, so, and it didn't really look like it was going to pick up anytime soon. So I just kind of started something, you know, and you know, it was a really good record. I'm really proud of it, and that whole period was a real kind of trying period for me personally to adjust to being up front, you know. And I'm still working with that one. I prefer just to be on the side, play guitar, pop up a couple of vocals once in a while, but I'm basically a guitar player, and the constraints of being up at the mic are sometimes a little too confining for me, you know. But I'm getting used to it, and I'm learning how to deal with it, and I'm having fun with it. So the difference between Boggy Depot and Degradation Trip is probably like skipping a couple of grades in school, you know. It's like skipping a few years. I mean, there was a big. I have likened it in the past to the jump between Facelift and Dirt, and I think it's even more so. It's just comparing growth, you know, not comparing the records to those two records, but the growth is tremendous. I mean, I was onto something, and I'm glad I stuck with it, and I'm glad I finished it the way that I wanted to finish it, and you know, I'm really happy with it, you know, and I'm happy to be a Roadrunner, and I've got a great band, I got a great record, I got a great record company, and we're just at the beginning here, so we'll see what this turns into, you know.
Okay, well, speaking of Roadrunner, what do you hope to achieve with a new album, sound-wise, career-wise, fan base?
Well, we're going to tour this record till I drop, pretty much. I want to get everywhere on this record that we didn't get on Boggy, and we didn't get over we didn't get outside of the States with Boggy, and I'd love to take it around the world, you know, and I'd love to see it grow and be the record that I know that it can be, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to make that happen. And the main thing you got to do beyond making a great record is get out there and play for people, you know, get in people's faces. So that's what we're doing right now.
And Europe, have you any plans touring Europe? And what can you expect from the current band lineup?
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get Robert and Mike back. They're touring with Ozzy right now, and they're committed to that till probably September. So until that time, I have the guys with Comes With a Fall with me, William Duvall.
Jerry, I'm sorry, can we start over on that? Oh, that was a little loud on the
Okay.
from over there. So we're talking about your tour in Europe and what you expect in the new band lineup.
Well, I would like to take this record as far as we can take it. And that, of course, means Europe, Japan. I'd like to get to South America. I'd like to go to some places that I haven't been yet, you know. And I'd really like to get Mike and Robert back as well. But they're currently committed to Ozzy till September, I believe. And I have the touring band that I have now is a band which I personally think is a great band, and I'd like to see something happen for them. I really believe in them. They're called Comes With a Fall. And we have William Duvall, who's the lead singer and guitarist and main songwriter. Phenomenal talent. Adam Stanger on bass, Bevan Davies on drums, and I have Sean Matthews from Dallas, a friend of mine from Dallas, through the Pantera guys, playing guitar and vocals as well. So.
Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, the only thing is
Okay.
You guys see my tour manager around anywhere?
What's he look like?
Or Maria? I need a cigarette. Lights? Nah. I need a heavier hit.
No Nancy cigarettes.
I was over here. Just go to this number 8.
Right? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Number 7.
Let's see. Do you have any interesting or bizarre experiences for being on tour that you could recount for us?
Oh man. You know, it's crazy out here. Stuff happens every day. There's just like too many to even pick one out, really.
Crazy. One that you tell all your friends when you go home, like, you're not going to believe what happened last night.
Well, I prefer not to tell those.
Well, tell one that's crazy enough that you can tell your mom. Or someone in your
Oh
family.
boy. I don't know.
Not too hardcore.
I don't know, man.
Or a goofy story or something that's just...
I'm not coming up with anything right now.
We'll come back to it. Let's see.
Where are you at?
Number 8.
Okay.
Okay, we just need you to do like an ID. Like
All right.
just, hey, this is Jerry Cantrell, and this is a track from my new album, Degradation Trip. It's called Anger Rising.
All right.
We'll do a couple, like look right at the
Into the
camera.
light?
Yeah, right into the camera.
I'm Jerry Cantrell. This is my new single, Anger Rising, from my new record, Degradation Trip.
We get tight ones.
It's not very comfortable here.
We're almost done.
All right.
Let's see. I got a pretty tight one, so try to move this too. It's perfect right there. Whenever you're ready. Am I in? Chris, am I in? Yeah, here. Am I in? Oh, you're right. Whenever you're ready.
What are we doing?
Same thing.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, this is Jerry Cantrell. This is my first single for my new record, Degradation Trip. It's called Anger Rising.
Should we do a couple of those? Or
No, that's fine. That's
okay. Bonus one.
Okay, Jerry, just so you know, you don't have to answer these next 4 questions.
Okay.
If you're comfortable answering them.
Is it Lane?
No.
Okay.
They're kind of off the wall questions.
Okay, all right.
That the UK
Lay 'em on me.
put together.
Okay. Did you have a religious upbringing?
Lucky Strikes? No. You got a Marlboro?
I got him here.
Thank you. What's that?
Did you have a religious upbringing? And if so, does this feature in any of your music?
I personally didn't have. I didn't have a whole lot of structured religion around me when I grew up. My mother was she was a pretty firm believer in not imprinting stuff on the kids and letting them pick their own thing, you know. So we were never really a big church family. Weddings and funerals, pretty much, you know. But you know, I mean, even though I didn't have that sort of background, I mean, it's our history, you know, and faith is something that the world in general, even in different segments or whatever, it's part of our existence and it's part of our makeup. So of course that all filters in and plays a part in my music somewhat, yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts or spirits? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
I don't know. I don't know what I believe. I believe there's a lot more than we know, that's for sure. And I don't know. I'd like to believe in a lot of things, but I'm not quite sure of, you know, so I've never seen anything like that, so I can't say that I do.
What's the worst thing that's happened to you physically? Example, accident.
Breaking my hand.
Say that again.
Breaking my hand. Yeah.
Can you say it like you didn't hear us, like the worst thing?
The worst physical pain I've ever had, and the worst probably mental trip I went through over an injury was breaking my hand. I had to cut me open and put a titanium plate and 4 screws to put this bone back together. It was a spiral fracture. So it kind of like went at an angle, you know, so they were both in two sharp pieces. And it was in the middle of a tour last year for this record, actually, before I had a record company. I was just doing a tour on my own to go out and play the material a little bit and have some fun, you know. And we actually had a gig at the Kentucky Derby. We played the Kentucky Derby. And the infield is like this beautiful lawn, you know. So we were waiting around for we were waiting around for our bus driver to come back from the hotel to drive us out of there, and we had some time to kill. So some of the guys started throwing a football around, and I was kind of sleeping. They asked me if I wanted to play, and I'm like, nah. And then I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, all right, I'll play. So I got up. Worst mistake I ever made. Got in the game, played a couple of plays. I took a kickoff, ran it about the halfway mark on the field, and I pitched off and went to block. And coincidentally, my guitar player at the time, Brian Kehoe, was running towards me, and he's a big boy. And I was running full speed this way, he was running full speed that way, and I got my pinky caught in his t-shirt sleeve at a full run, and it just snapped. That was it. Went like that, tour over. So I went to the emergency room, and they couldn't really do anything for me, and it was like this finger was like down to here, actually, because the bone had slid back in my hand. So I was going to have like reconstructive surgery on my hand anyway, and they couldn't do anything about it. So I had to kind of let it sit the way that it was for about probably a couple of weeks before they set it right. And I wanted to continue the tour actually too, but I realized most people are wanting to see me play guitar too. So we actually did one gig after that, and it was my first gig as a solo front guy without a guitar. And we opened up for Cheap Trick, and I think it was in Atlanta. Yeah, it was actually a really good gig, but man, I was in a lot of pain. Yeah, it hurt like hell.
Who are your childhood, your teenage, and current heroes, whether it's music or just anyone in general?
Who are my heroes? I don't know. My dad. My dad's a hero of mine. My brother, my sister, Lane, Sean, Susan Silver, all my family and friends.
Anything growing up? Any maybe a movie star or something?
Oh yeah, I love movies. I love film. Sean Penn's one of my favorite actors, and he's a friend of mine. He's incredible. De Niro, Pacino, Eastwood.
What are some of your favorite films?
Favorite films? Favorite films. Well, Star Wars is probably a big movie in everybody's life. That was amazing when that came out. Apocalypse Now.
Do any films inspire you to write songs about?
I lift things out of movies sometimes, little lines and things like that. Sure, yeah. I get ideas out of film all the time.
Anything that stuck in?
No. No.
How about more maybe to go back to recording the album, the process, who produced this one compared to other producers, or?
Well, I initially had Dave Jordan slated to produce this record, and it didn't work out when we figured that out on the second day, 2 days in, and it just wasn't happening. So I decided to go it alone and do it myself and hire a great engineer, and I did. I hired an excellent engineer who became my co-producer as well. His name's Jeff Tomei, and got a lot of respect for Jeff. He's a great guy. He's got a good ear. He's like George Martin is his hero, so he's all about experimenting and getting whacked sounds and doing things unconventionally, which I really like to do.
How many songs did you go into the studio with? So you
30.
chose.
We went into the studio with 30 songs. Yeah. And actually, there's 4 songs from that writing session that we didn't even get to record, which hopefully I'll get to. I'll get to be able to record and be able to release the whole thing. But we've got 11 in the can, which is basically disc 2, volume 2. The album that is released now, Degradation Trip, is basically volume 1 with a couple of songs from volume 2.
And what do people have to look forward to on this tour that you're doing that's different than anything you've done before?
New songs.
Is there anything that you want to say?
Nope. I'm done, man. I'm done talking today.
Anything you want to add?
Just last thing. I heard you have a friendship with Crowe. Do you want to
Sure.
talk about that a little bit?
I love Cameron. He's a great guy. And all of those people, Ann and Nancy, they're just great people, you know. I'm really fortunate to come from a community that I come from and have been able to admire and respect and be turned on by the same people who are my friends and my peers, you know. And it's a pretty great thing. It's a pretty great thing. I've done 2 Cameron Crowe films, and I hope to do another one. I was supposed to be in Almost Famous. I was supposed to be the bass player, and I turned it down. I'm sorry I did that, Cameron, but I was in the middle of writing this record, and I just couldn't quit. I was in a place, and I didn't want to get off the trip. So I hope you consider me for another one. I love working with him. He's great.
How is the Seattle music scene now as it was compared to years ago? Blew up.
Well, you know, I haven't been home in a while, so I just recently went home for a significant, well, not even a significant amount of time, just a few days here and there since Lane's death, and I'd really like to get back there, you know, but you know, through making this record and financially, I had to fund it all myself, and I also had to pay back Columbia for the money that they had put into it. So I basically had to sell my house. I burned through a ton of money making this record, and so hopefully it does well.
And the last question is, you had a role in Jerry Maguire here in the movie.
Right.
We'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. I was really nervous doing that, and Cameron cast me in that role just to see me wear a tie and Dockers, I think. I think that was his personal goal, to see Cantrell and Dockers in a tie. And he did it. He got me in it. And I was really nervous when I did it. And Tom Cruise was way cool. He was just like, man, you're doing fine. Just take a breath, chill out, man. It's totally cool. You know, I worked with him for about 3-4 hours on that scene. You know, shooting it from different angles and all the different ways that we shot it and stuff. And he made me feel really at ease, and it was really fun to do. It's something I'd like to do more in the future, on a bigger scale.
On a bigger scale.
Sure, do some, you know, bigger role. You know, that's kind of where I started anyway. Like I said, I started in drama and choir and theater and stuff like that. So it's an interest and love of mine that I haven't had the time to really invest in. You know, but maybe as time goes on, I'll be able to do some more of that. So.
We know you're a busy man, sir, so thank you very much for
All right,
your time.
cool.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hope I wasn't too twitchy for you.